Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 181. Yeah, getting past 180 here. The Dwarfs of Mount Atlas. It's a very interesting little work. It's booklet length. I think it's like 50-ish pages. Specifically what this covers... Oh, and link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. If you're into the cryptozoological side of maybe anthropological oddity, there are other works available. Second and third links to my books blogs. You can find them in various categories there. Mostly under folklore. I haven't made the cryptid category yet. I'm going to be building that, and I'm going to be making a separate category, I think, for sort of the seance and Victorian occultism sort of stuff. I'll be making two new categories. Now, specifically, this is presented as an anthropological study of a purported tribe of little people, like literally pygmies, living in the central mountain ranges of Morocco. Now, as far as I know in modern scientific literature, there's nothing to suggest that there's a literal tribe of pygmies in the Atlas Mountains. However, I'd like to perhaps support the premise of it by saying that two possibilities could account for this. Number one, there could have been a genetically mutated population that was local to begin with, that was genetic mutants, people that were reportedly around 5 feet tall on average for males, would be fairly short by even even the malnourished standards of most of the world in that era. That was wiped out eventually, or bred in with the local population stopped existing. It's also possible, it is feasible that a transplanted group of actual pygmies from the continent could have ended up relocating there by some means. It is possible for them to have traversed that distance. They would have had to have gone around the Sahara, presumably, but it is technically possible. Or it could have been transplanted by slave traders. The slave trade, they land there, group escapes, they begin breeding up in the mountains. It is possible. Either way, the group apparently no longer exists. Could have been destroyed by colonial contact, by disease. Could have been wiped out in an ethnocide, essentially. Some military force destroys them. It's possible that they existed, though, at the time. I guess you'd have to perform archaeology in some of these mountain ranges and see if you find any pygmy bones. It is possible, though, and the spiritual side of this, the occult side, is twofold. Number one, it's cautionary. It's don't take everything, even technically scientific, too literally within the occult or within a secular context, because, of course, again, there's no evidence that this group exists. Number two would be the side of dwarf worship, which is actually covered here as well. Specifically, those that were reporting the existence of this group within the Atlas Range said, well, some of the local groups, they consider it lucky when they're in town. Like if you have a couple of these little people sort of living in your community or trading with your community, it brings you luck. And this is sort of similar to similar lore, like leprechauns or something like that. They were considered to be good acrobats for some reason. And it's fleshed out enough, and there are enough anecdotal reports that I have to hazard a guess that probably there was some sort of group there. I question whether it would have numbered in the several thousands, as some people claimed that was reported by the locals at the time, the Berber people. But it is possible. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that this group actually existed. Now, and that's the arcane side of the occult, which is science is not yet quantified. Of course, before Lucy is dug up, the human timeline is more recent. Now, of course, it's longer. Right now, there's no specific archaeological reason to believe there was ever a tribe of pygmies living in central Morocco. But if you conducted enough test pits, you could find evidence of that. It is possible. And so that really, knowing the past, knowing reality, very important within the occult. Don't live on spiritual pipe dreams, of course, would be a good moniker. So again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon, second and third links to my books blogs. I am working on a separate work that's on like gnomes and stuff like that, and some of the elemental Rosicrucian stuff that I know is fairly well received by people. They seem to like the first book. That's about all. Peace out.